Pearlmethyst is honestly the fucking worst ship ever, because it completely disregards both Pearl's character development and Amethyst's personality in favor of forced, shallow interactions that don't make any damn sense in the context of their actual dynamic. Pearl is meticulous, perfection-driven, and deeply traumatized by her past with Rose, while Amethyst is messy as hell, carefree, and constantly struggling with her own fucking feelings of inadequacy and self-worth. Instead of their differences balancing each other out in a healthy way, their interactions in canon usually highlight just how much they fucking clash. Pearl finds Amethyst irresponsible and fucking frustrating, while Amethyst sees Pearl as uptight and judgmental as shit. Forcing them into a romantic relationship erases the value of their growth as individuals and cheapens the platonic, sibling-like bond they eventually develop through mutual understanding. It's just fucking wrong. It also undermines Pearl's canon arc of learning to move on from Rose and her grief, and Amethyst's journey of self-acceptance, by trying to shoehorn them into a dynamic that doesn't actually support or nurture their fucking growth. On top of that, there's nothing in the show that ever genuinely suggests any fucking romantic tension between them. Their moments of connection are rooted in shared pain and learning to respect each other as teammates, not fucking lovers. Shipping them together feels like ignoring the actual depth of their characters just to force a opposites attract trope where it doesn't fucking belong. And in doing so, it strips away the emotional nuance that makes both Pearl and Amethyst compelling on their own. At the end of the day, Pearlmethyst doesn't just fail to work, it actively makes both characters less fucking interesting, which is why it's one of the worst ships in the entire fandom. Pearlmethyst is without a doubt the worst fucking ship ever, because it takes two characters who are meant to challenge and grow alongside each other as teammates and twists their complicated dynamic into something that doesn't work romantically on any fucking level. Pearl and Amethyst are fucking polar opposites. Pearl is all about discipline, order, and repressing her shit, while Amethyst is pure chaos, insecurity, and self-indulgence. It's like trying to mix oil and water, except with way more emotional baggage and way less compatibility. Their bond is built on friction, arguments, and hard fucking earned respect, not attraction, not affection. Turning that into romance is just ignoring how fucking incompatible they are in values, needs, and emotional maturity. It's a disaster waiting to happen. Pearl's love for Rose is the deepest fucking part of her character, and her whole arc is about processing that grief and finding her own damn independence. Forcing her into a romance with Amethyst just cheapens all of that, like slapping a shitty band-aid over years of real nuanced pain. Meanwhile, Amethyst's whole fucking deal is about struggling with self-identity, self-worth, and feeling like a defective gem. Forcing her into a relationship with Pearl just makes all the worst parts of their canon dynamic even more toxic and fucked up. Pearl's judgmental bullshit and Amethyst's resentment, yeah, that's the real dynamic, not some romantic fantasy. Instead of being healing or comforting, this pairing would be fucking toxic. Constant arguments, endless misunderstandings, and a power imbalance that just leaves both of them hurt and pissed off. And on top of all that, Pearlmethyst erases what actually makes their eventual friendship so fucking meaningful. In the show, they slowly learn to see each other's strengths, accept their flaws, and respect one another as equals, even if they're always bickering. That journey is powerful exactly because it isn't romantic. It's about learning to fucking coexist and cooperate as a family, not as lovers. Trying to make it romantic just ruins the whole point. By turning it into a ship, you strip away that rare, honest depiction of two totally different personalities learning to bond platonically. Instead, you get some forced romantic tension that just isn't fucking there. It also shits on healthier ships that actually support their growth, like Pearl finding someone who truly respects her, or Amethyst building deeper bonds with people who get her struggles without constantly tearing her down. Pearlmethyst is just a fucking attempt to romanticize conflict and tension for the sake of a spicy dynamic, but in reality, it's shallow, unfounded, and honestly damaging to both characters' arcs. At the end of the fucking day, Pearl and Amethyst work best as teammates who grow into mutual respect. Trying to shove them into a romantic mold doesn't just fail. It erases everything that makes their individual journeys and their bond actually worth a damn. That's why Pearlmethyst isn't just a bad ship. It's one of the fucking worst, because it diminishes both characters instead of celebrating who they really are. Why Pearlmethyst fails as a fucking ship. Pearlmethyst is one of those goddamn ships that only exists because the characters are on screen together a lot. Not because there's any real fucking romantic foundation. It's just people forcing shit that isn't there. At its core, Pearl and Amethyst's dynamic is combative as hell, totally uneven, and honestly just fucking hostile most of the time. Pearl is all about rigidity, perfectionism, and control. Amethyst is pure chaos, insecurity, and self-indulgence. They're a fucking disaster together. These traits don't balance each other out, they fucking clash constantly. That tension is important for their arcs as teammates, but in a romantic relationship, it'd be outright toxic and a total shit show. Their canon bond only works because of gradual respect and reluctant understanding, not because of any goddamn love or attraction. Forcing their antagonistic energy into romance completely ignores the fucking point of their relationship and turns two well-developed characters into a joke. Just another lazy, opposites attract trope. One of the biggest reasons Pearlmethyst fails so fucking hard is that it trashes Pearl's character arc. Her grief over Rose, her desperate need for validation, and her struggle to find her own identity are some of the most gut-wrenching, real shit in the show. Pairing her with Amethyst just throws all that out the window. Like she can be fixed by a new relationship instead of actually dealing with her trauma. That's fucking insulting. Instead of showing Pearl's journey to independence and self-acceptance, this ship reduces her to someone who magically finds fulfillment in a relationship built on conflict and resentment. That's not just lazy writing, it's disrespectful as fuck to Pearl's depth. And Amethyst gets screwed over just as much. Her struggles with self-worth, feeling like a mistake and wanting to be accepted for who she is, those are fucking crucial to her growth. With Pearl, all those insecurities just get fucking worse. Pearl constantly criticizes Amethyst for being irresponsible or flawed, and even though the show eventually lets Pearl appreciate Amethyst's strengths, it doesn't erase the years of judgment and belittlement Amethyst had to fucking endure. Forcing Amethyst into a romantic relationship with Pearl would just reward Pearl's past bullshit and ignore Amethyst's need for someone who actually validates her instead of tearing her down. Instead of being empowering, this relationship would drag Amethyst right back into cycles of comparison and resentment she fought like hell to escape. It's just fucking wrong. What makes Pearlmethyst so fucking infuriating is that it completely erases the actual significance of Pearl and Amethyst's platonic bond. Like, it just shits all over what makes their friendship matter in the first place. In Steven Universe, not every damn relationship has to be romantic, and Pearl and Amethyst are one of the best fucking examples of that. Forcing romance here is just missing the whole fucking point. They go from enemies who are always at each other's throats to teammates who can actually fucking rely on each other and share real, raw moments of vulnerability. No romance needed. That kind of growth is valuable exactly because it's not romantic. It proves that people with clashing personalities and a shitload of baggage can still come to respect each other as family, not lovers. Turning that into a ship just strips away all the fucking nuance of their friendship and flattens it into something it was never meant to be. It's lazy as hell. Another massive fucking flaw in this ship is that it feels completely forced from a narrative standpoint. Like, who the hell thought this was a good idea? The show never once even hints at any fucking romantic interest between the two, not a single damn moment. Their moments of connection are about solidarity, teamwork, and learning to fucking coexist, not about falling in love or any of that bullshit. There's no tension, no longing, no vulnerability that even remotely points toward romance. Shipping them is just projecting some tired-ass trope onto them because it looks dramatic on paper, not because it fits. But the truth is, this whole enemies to lovers bullshit doesn't work when the foundation is bitterness and trauma, not playful banter or hidden admiration. It's just fucking broken. Their relationship is missing the kind of romantic chemistry you actually need to make that transition believable, and trying to force it just makes both characters feel hollow as fuck. Ultimately, Pearlmethyst is the fucking worst ship ever, because it completely shits on both Pearl and Amethyst, disrespects their entire goddamn character arcs, and erases the fucking beauty of their platonic growth. It doesn't add a single fucking thing to the narrative. It just rips away what makes these characters great, forcing them into a dynamic that only amplifies their worst fucking traits instead of nurturing anything good. Pearl deserves a love that actually helps her heal and respects her complicated, messy ass, not some bullshit ship that ignores her pain. Amethyst deserves someone who fucking validates her and makes her feel whole, not a relationship that just reminds her of every damn thing she's insecure about. Together, they can be teammates, friends, family, whatever the hell you want. But lovers? Fuck no. Forcing them into romance doesn't just fail. It makes the whole fucking story weaker. That's why Pearlmethyst will always be one of the worst, most misguided ships in the entire goddamn fandom.